Hi guys, welcome to the fourth video of module 6. And here we are going to explore the dataset and get some more insights about it. To start with, we are going to look into what is the HR diagram, then import the libraries that we'll be using for this project, and then create a data frame from this CSV file that we are having for the star data, and perform some of the basic data analysis on this particular data to understand more about it. So let's get into this video. So now let's look into this Hertzsprung-Russell diagram. And clearly over here we are able to see some different type of stars. Over here we are having white dwarfs. Sun somewhere belongs to this main sequence somewhere over here. Then we have giants, we have supergiants, and even on top of this we are also having hypergiants are there. Then somewhere over here brown dwarfs are there. Then at the end there is also red dwarf. There is all this kind of different types of stars that is available and is actually the part of our data set. And during the exploration part, as we go ahead in this video, you will realize that, okay, yeah, these are the type of different star types that we are dealing with. But yeah, just to give you an example, this is the type of chart that I really wanted to show you. And now let's go ahead and import some of the libraries over here that we'll be using. The one that I'll be using the most is the pandas. I'll import pandas as PD. And along with that, I'll also use NumPy. So I'll use import NumPy as NP. On top of this, we'll also be requiring the sklearn libraries. I'll be importing them whenever it is required. But for now, I guess these are the two that I really wanted to import first of all. And then now we're going to go ahead and explore the star data that we are having. What is this data? Remember in the previous video, we went ahead and downloaded this particular data set into our system. And we have already loaded it over here. I'll simply copy the path over here of this particular file, close it, and just create a data frame out of it. And how is it going to work? I'm going to call it some kind of a name. Let's say, for example, star df. So star df is equals to pd.readcsv, and then simply give the path over here. And hopefully there are no mistakes in the spelling. I'll just run this code. And yes, now I'm going to show the 10 random samples that are present in the data. And I can do this with the help of sample command that I get with respect to the data frame in pandas. So I'm going to call my star df. First of all, I'll just run this code as it is and show you what it is having already. So this is the type of data that it's storing. It's having this temperatures, luminosity, radius, absolute magnitude, and also the star type. So if these are the 4 different inputs that we give to our model, first of all, during the training, we need to tell it that, you know what, if these are the type of inputs you're going to get, this belongs to the class called as brown dwarf. And if this is the type of, let's say, for example, the input you're going to get, this belongs to the supergiant. Like this, let's say if I want to just randomly visualize 10 random rows of this data set, how can I do this? I take the star df and I use star df.sample, and how many samples I want to visualize, I pass that number, let's say for example 10. And now you will see that the index values have completely changed, which is indicating that these are the random samples in the data set. And yeah, with respect to the star type, you can see that this have changed and everything is changed because it's random. Now one thing you need to keep in mind is that this temperature is in Kelvin. The luminosity values are with respect to the luminosity of the sun. Similarly for the radius as well, it is with respect to the radius of the sun. So whatever is the radius of the star that we are trying to observe over here or trying to deal with that, this value is actually with respect to that 14 times the radius of the sun. That's what this actually means, right? And then we are also having the absolute magnitude. And then depending on all of this, this is the star type that it belongs to. Now after this, I'm going to go ahead and look into that how many different type of star types are available in this data, and then what is the count of each and every one of them. So for this, what I'll be doing is I'll simply mention this code. I want star df. Now from the star df, I require the star type column. I'll just cross check if the name is correct. It's capital S. Yes, everything seems good. And on top of this, first of all, let me just print this. So it's going to give me all this kind of values that we are having from the 0th column, from the 0th row till the last row. And now I'm just going to pass on value underscore counts. And if I run this code, now it's going to give me that there are this many different types of stars: brown dwarf, red dwarf, then there is white dwarf, main sequence, hypergiant, and supergiant. And for each class, there are 40 different samples. So this is the type of analysis that we have made over here. And this is simply indicating that we are dealing with the balanced data set. Now what I'm going to do over here is I'm simply going to go ahead and fetch the generic information about this data frame So the data frame is called as star deer. And on top of that, if I want this generic information, I do .info. And if I run this code, it's going to give me a proper summary of this data. And that's how it's going to look like. There are a total of 240 different rows. So it means there are 240 stars in our data set. And then for the temperature, it's the only one data type which is belonging to this integer. That is, all the values of the temperatures are going to be the integers, as you can see over here. Apart from that, we can see that this luminosity, radius, and the absolute value, all of them, because they are having this kind of decimals representation, we are going to call it as a float type. So that's something that we are having. And on top of that, we are also having a star type over here, which we are calling as object. And this object could be literally any data type over here. And the one that we are able to recognize over here is called as string. So I hope that everyone is now clear with how the dataset is going to look like. And that was a quick exploration with respect to that. So that was all about exploring this particular dataset, guys. And I hope that you are now having a very good understanding about this dataset. Now in the next video, let's go ahead and prepare this dataset for the training purpose and the testing purpose.